Hello and welcome to the Matchroom Bubble here, just opposite the SSE Arena in Wembley. It's the final bubble and it's the big one, the one we've all been waiting for. The World Heavyweight title between Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev. I'd like to say that Spencer Oliver's part of our team this week, and Spencer, you've been like a jack in the box all week around the bubble. Just so excited to get going now.
Listen, I seriously have. You know, we've been waiting for this all year, and yeah, it's the big one. AJ's here. He's arrived. He looks in tremendous shape. But we've been with Kubrat Pulev right from the beginning, since Monday. Actually, he got in earlier, so we saw him up Monday, up close and personal. He was in good humour. He was having a little joke. He was playing loads of games, pool, darts, and yeah, he looked really relaxed and focused. Spoke to him about the fight. He looks slim as well, by the way. He's trained for this really hard. 39 years of age. You know, only the one defeat on his record against Klitschko, which was 2014. Since then, 8 wins, and he's really up for it. And he's got some good names on his record as well. Hughie Fury, who's boxing on the undercard here, was one of the names that he beat. Derek Chisora as well. So he showed that he's still got a lot left in the tank. He knows it's the last roll of the dice, and he's come to win. You know, he said that the fight was meant to happen 3 years ago. Didn't happen. He's been waiting for his shot, and he sees this as the big opportunity. He really does.
Okay, let's join the action in the ring. It is Hughie Fury, and you've already mentioned Marius Vac there. He's got I'm going to say a tough night, so he's got a tough man in front of him. What are you expecting to see from Hughie Fury and Marius Vac?
Listen, Marius Vac, we've seen him on a number of occasions. Last time we saw him actually was out in Saudi against Dillian White, and he pushed Dillian all the way.
He gave him a hard night as well,
admittedly, Dillian wasn't in shape, but Marius, when he fancies the job, he goes for it. He pushes it, and he really goes for it. And he done that against Dillian. You know, he's been in with everybody. He pushes everybody. He's a big, big guy. So, you know, I'm expecting a good fight. Hughie Fury's looking to get back on the winning trail. He's had one fight against Sauer since that loss. Since that loss to Povetkin. And it's a big platform for both guys. It really is, and it should be a good fight. I mean, Hughie Fury is only 26 years of age. People forget that.
To say that to you.
People forget that.
I look at his age, and I'm still shocked. He's 26. What's the heavyweight peak? Would you say? I know that changes all the time.
Listen,
what's the heavyweight peak? Is he even approaching his peak years yet?
He's 4 years off that. I reckon 30 years of age before he even hits that heavyweight peak. You know, he's gained lots of experience. You know, the 3 fights that he's lost was against Pulev, was against Povetkin, and the other one was Pulev, Povetkin, and it will come to Joseph Parker. So they are 3 there you go. But they are 3 world-class guys, and he's taken those on at a young age. He's gained a lot of experience. You know, Peter Fury said that. He said, don't worry about the losses. It's how you come back from the losses, what you learn from the losses. He's gone back to the gym. This guy's dedicated. He works really hard in the gym, and he pushes it, and he's improving all the time. So we've still not seen the best from Hughie Fury, and I'm expecting a good performance. Marius Vac is a good opponent for him. He's big, he's strong, he stands in front of his opponents. And Hughie Fury, we know, has got a lot of lateral movement. He likes to move from side to side. He throws shots from different angles. It's going to be a good contest.
Martin Bakole is also on the card.
Yes.
He put a dent in Marius Vac, but actually that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
You know, Vladimir Klitschko through everything, kitchen sink job.
Yeah.
Couldn't get him out there. Is it fair to say that it's fair to say that this could be a distance fight? Would it be a big statement if Hughie can stop Marius Vac?
Andy, it would be a huge statement. Not a big one, a huge statement if he can stop Marius Vac, who's big, very big for a heavyweight. You know, Hughie Fury's not particularly big for a heavyweight. He uses mobility, speed, shots from different angles. He looks to win fights, and he's always going to go a lot of the time at the top level. He'll go distance fights, but he's not worried about that. He's not worried about getting the KOs. He's worried about winning. But Marius Vac is a difficult guy to get done inside the distance. He really is.
When you talk about the heavyweight picture, you've got the 2 big guys at the moment, which is AJ, Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
And you've got the sort of group underneath.
Yeah.
Where's Hughie Fury in your eyes?
So Hughie Fury is like sort of tier 3, approaching tier 2. He's improving all the time. So tier 2 is your Povetkins, you know, Dillian Whites, that sort of thing. They're there just waiting to go up and challenge, you know, the big guys, which is Joshua and Fury, obviously, and Wilder. You've got Joshua, Fury, Wilder, tier 1. Tier 2 would be like, your Povetkins and stuff. And then I think that Hughie Fury falls into tier 3. But he's young, and he's learning and improving all the time. There's no disgrace in the 3 losses he's had, you know, and he is a workhorse. You know, this guy is committed and he trains really hard. We have yet to see the best from Hughie Fury.
Adam Smith joins us in the chat. Adam, that's fair enough what Spencer's saying there. It's not a criticism. Hughie's getting out, so I wonder if we're just going to grab a quick interview. Sorry to cut you off there. Hughie, are you all done? Just a quick one, just for social distancing, I'll keep you there. Just going through a light workout there because you've already done your training behind closed door. Just how excited are you to get going on Saturday?
I can't wait. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to the fight, and mark these words, people's going to see something special.
Yeah, what are you hoping to achieve on Saturday? Is it polished performance against a very durable Mariusz Vach? Is it to get a man that's not often stopped out of there? Is it to, you know, not get hit and inflict some damage? What do you want to achieve?
So all I want to say is Mariusz Vach's never seen anything like my style. He's been in with everyone, but he's never been with anyone like me.
We keep saying it, the fact that you're only 26 is just such an eye-opener. It feels like you've been around forever. Is it fair to say, in your eyes, you're still not at your peak? Spencer Robert just said off camera there that actually your peak might not be for another 4 years. What do you and your father, Peter, think? Whereabouts is your peak years? Are you developing quicker? Is it still a work in progress? What do you think?
Yeah, listen, with age, the more I'm growing, the more I'm filling out. As you can see, from the last fight, the difference in shape, as anything, age goes on, the more you fill out and you get your man strength. But people's going to see, like you say, from them fights there, I've changed a magnificent difference. And come this growing years, it's going to be, believe me, I know for a fact I'm meant to be in this heavyweight division. I'm going to take over it one day.
Big punchers have been in with him and not been able to shift him. Do you see this very much as like a chopping down a tree job, that you're just going to have to keep going and pick away at him? Or do you think that, you know, the punching power is a myth, you can put him away with one shot if you catch him?
Listen, 100%. You'll soon find out what happens, but believe me, he's not going to go distance.
You're a sensible man to talk to about the main event. Obviously, Kubrat Pulev, you shared the ring with him. What does he do well? Is there anything that's underrated that perhaps us guys that are outside the ring might not pick up on? I've heard you say before, his jab's quite difficult to get inside of.
Yeah, listen, Pulev is a very difficult fighter. If he'll give Joshua problems in the early rounds, and then he doesn't need to let him sit behind his jab. If he lets Pulev sit behind his jab, he's going to have problems. I think don't let him get comfortable. But I think Pulev dies out between the later rounds. I found anyway, because obviously I had the cut and I was worn out after I put everything in the 3rd round. There's literally nothing in there. But in the 8th and that, he started to slow down. His defence was more leaky, and that's when they were able to wobble him, but I didn't have the energy to finish him.
Let's finish on your fight. Just finally, what's your prediction?
I have to wait and find out, but trust me, it's not one to be missed.
Top man, thank you very much for joining us. Go well. Okay, Tom, I'm just going to swing you around because we are joined by a couple of light-looking characters. Adam, I was mid-sentence before Hughie finished. I'm going to come to you first. Hughie Fury, what do you want to see from him on Saturday night?
I want to see him make a statement. I think Hughie is he's right. You know, man strength is coming. I've been impressed last time out with him. Look, he was pitched in early. You know, losing to the likes of Alexander Povetkin, of Joseph Parker, of Kubrat Pulev, no disgrace at all. You know, he went the distance every time, and you know, they took a gamble, they took a risk, and I don't think it will stand him in bad stead at all. You know, Peter is a fantastic trainer. We've seen what he's done with Savannah Marshall recently. I like the look of, when you were interviewing Hugh there, I like the look of him, the feel of him. He's maturing, and I think that he could become a real part of this heavyweight division, but he's got to excite as well, and I think there's a bit of pressure on him on Saturday night to do that against Mariusz Vach.
Just from what you were saying there, Spencer, I think he will. He's got, I don't want to overdo it, but he's got a little bit of a bee in his bonnet that I think he thinks he can stop Mariusz Vach.
Well, listen, he doesn't want to be labelled as that heavyweight who just fiddles his way through fights. You know, he's saying that, I said he's developing all the time, and these fights have put him in a good place. You know, he's lost against good tier fighters there, but he's gained a lot of experience. He was only a young man that was thrown in, and Peter's right, he is developing, he's maturing, and also what I noticed there is that he's getting thicker set. You know, he might start sitting on his punches a little bit more. That's what he needs to do, sit on his punches a little bit and let the combinations go. Single shots are not going to be good for him. He needs to put the shots together in combinations, and he could make that statement. But it seems like you're right, Andy. You did feel that he had that tension there, and that, you know, he had that little bee in his bonnet. So we could see something quite special for him, something a little bit different to what we've seen before.
Okay, just going to turn back round because the source, Lawrence Okoli, is just making his way into the ring. Gentlemen, we thought that we would be talking about Lawrence Okoli challenging for his first world title. It's not to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gravotsky has tested positive for COVID. We wish him all the best in his recovery. What is Lawrence's mindset going to be coming into this? It's now Niko Jędrzejewski. Comes as a relative unknown. I think we all had to look him up beforehand, but he comes with a decent record on paper. What mindset will Lawrence Okoli be going through at the moment? He's just had his dream ripped away, but he seems very positive today, actually.
You know, obviously we're gutted that the big fight's not happening for Lawrence on Saturday night, but I had the chance to speak to him a little bit earlier, and he was really happy, and he's very excited about being back in the ring. I think that's the key, and I think he feels as though this is a step up, and that this is a really good fight for him at this stage, that he can showcase his skills, that he can test himself against an unbeaten fighter who, albeit has come in at short notice, but you know, he's proud and he's not got a loss on his record. So I think it's a decent test. I think if we didn't have the world title fight, we'd say, this is a good move for Lawrence Okoli. So it's disappointing that we haven't got the big dream chance for Lawrence, and I know that he wanted to become, you know, a world champion on Saturday night. He'll have to wait for his opportunity. This is no bad thing. This is all more experience, and it's a chance for us to see him really, you know, showcase that talent. He's an awkward fighter, but he can be a dangerous fighter as well. He reminds me a lot of Johnny Nelson, and I think that Lawrence can become a world champion. He'll just have to wait a little bit longer, but his mindset's good. He's very relaxed. You see a big smile on his face. I don't think he's bothered about this at all.
Yeah. Very easy to sulk, though, isn't it, when it doesn't go your way?
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. It's been a long build-up. He's been out of the ring for over a year, and then you get to fight week and the worst happens, and it's not in your control.
Listen, he's just coming off winning a European title, you know, in a great performance. He's got that world title opportunity, and the fight's fallen through. But you know what? He seems to have dealt with it. He seems nice and relaxed. He seems focused, and he's got a good opponent in front of him as well. 21 with 19 wins, 1 draw, and 1 no contests. I mean, it's an impressive record. Jędrzejewski, I saw him doing the open workout before Lawrence Okoli here, and he looked decent. He looks strong. That's Eastern European sort of style, straight backed, whips the shots in. This is a good test for Okoli. He will get his opportunity, and he just recognises that it will probably come, you know, early part of next year.
Johnny Nelson joins us live on the stream. Johnny, just so interested in your take in your old division. Lawrence Okoli, everything's happening so fast. You know, in just 14 fights, 1 British, Commonwealth, European. This was going to be a world title shot. From everything that you've seen, is he getting enough rounds? Is he, you know, it's difficult because everyone he's getting, domestic pool, blew away. You know, European level, stepped up against Yves Garby from your gym, blew him away. You know, this seems like a natural progression anyway, even if we don't think it's the right, you know, even if we do think it's come very quickly.
And his problem is he's too good for his own good. He's had 14 fights, and now so those wins have got him into deep waters. Now he's at world championship level, and I look at him. I walk past and I think, was I ever that tall? Have I shrunk that much? This guy is freakishly big, and the problem is this: he's strong, he's awkward, he can bang, he's confident. So if you're a cruiserweight coming in, unless you're something like, I don't know, Deontay Wilder, that is tall, long and rangy, you're going to have hellfire with him, because once he lands well, he lands good, but he makes it hard. He'll find calm throughout chaos. He'll ruffle you up, he'll pull you down. He looks awkward, he looks gangly. I feel for him because the criticism he's picked up, it can have a make or break a fighter, and I get that because I was that fighter.
This is literally. I was
going to say
I've got to hear this answer.
Yeah,
so you were stung by criticism. For,
completely.
He even gave you an ironic nickname. You know, people said that Lawrence hugs, he falls in on his shots, he's boring to watch. I've heard some people say I'd never watch him box again, but he wins.
I
How do you knock him?
I had that all the way through my career. I remember Frank Warren wouldn't sign me because he said I'd rather close the curtains if Johnny Nelson was boxing in my garden. But what it does, it hardens you. It then makes you more. What's important to you is what you think, what your circle think, what the public say, good or bad. It hardens you to just ignoring that and harnessing what you've got. What will happen is, eventually, people will praise him for what he's achieved, for the tough times he's gone through, for how he's done it, how he's stood around, how he's ignored the naysayers. And that's what he's doing. He's got that arrogance about him, as if to say, I don't care what you say, look where I am.
What about Shane Morgan as a coach? I don't want to say it too loudly because he can be worse. Seems like a really good fit for Lawrence Okoli. One thing that Shane McGuigan, I mean, yes, he's a very good coach, but also he's taken amateurs that were brilliant amateurs and taught them to punch through the target. That's one of the things that he does. How important is that? I mean, Lawrence Coley, just from an uneducated point of view, he's got long levers. If that punch travels its full distance, surely that's why he knocks people out.
Listen, he's a one-punch knockout merchant, Lawrence Coley. He punches through the pad, as you say. That's a match made in heaven, by the way. Shane McGuigan and Lawrence Coley, it works really well together, because what Shane's been doing with Lawrence, and the problem Lawrence has had in the past is judging the distance, judging the range. He's either punching too far forward or he's just out of range. But Shane's been working on that, and we've seen a marked improvement in the last couple of fights with Lawrence. So I don't think this is a bad thing that actually he's not fighting for the world title on Saturday night. I actually think he's still a work in progress. He's still improving all the time.
So Spenny, that's what I'm saying. With that, this kid's had 14 fights. This fight should win the world title. It tells me that he wins that world title, which I think he would do.
I do.
He
I agree.
wins that world title, and he's nowhere near the finished article. Which means you can imagine how good he can be.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
About Project Cruiserweight? It cannot be a secret that he sees his future at heavyweight. And what I put to him earlier was, actually, is this sort of year pause on your career, has it been a blessing or a disguise? Because I know that your body gets bigger, eventually he's going to fill out to a heavyweight. I said, is it going to be that little bit tougher making cruiserweight? He was like, I've made it easy. He said, and let me tell you, I blew up during lockdown like we all did. But, you know, he looks in great shape. He's not moody. The telltale signs when people are really short. He's super relaxed.
I'm not naming and shaming, but certain cruiserweights in our top 10, they've spoken about Lawrence. I said, leave him, get rid of him. You do not want any part of him. Wait till he moves up to heavyweight. Just wait about, and that's the problem. So domestically, if you've got dreams and ambitions to get through there, this is the last man. Any British fighter wants to fight. I'm not saying he beats them. What I'm saying is you've got a good chance of losing to him. So just wait till he moves to heavyweight. He suits heavyweight. I can imagine him sparring with the likes of Derek Chisholm.
Listen, he spars with those heavyweights, and trust me, he holds his own with the heavyweights as well. The guy is like he's a heavyweight in a cruiserweight's body. He will develop. He will develop. Listen, we got to remember this kid was 15 and 19 stone when he was 15 years of age. You know, and that's how he fell into boxing. He was an overweight kid who fell into boxing by just going to the gym and losing weight. But he will grow. He will grow into a fully fledged heavyweight. But that won't be before he picks up the cruiserweight title. And I do believe he does that because. To echo what Johnny said, you know, it's that awkward, unpredictable style that makes him so effective. Not quite knowing where those shots are going from. He's got those long levers, and he sort of, when he hits an opponent, when he catches an opponent, that's it. You know, sometimes he looks like he's struggling a little bit. We saw it against Watkins, where he looks like he's struggling, but as soon as he lands the shot, then it's game over. The power he punches like a heavyweight.
And we've seen him hurt. We've seen him stop. And so you think, it's going to be, but then all of a sudden he finds that shot. I've seen him get hit and get stunned. For a split second, then bang, clicks back into it again and gets the shot off, gets the win. And so with him, he's got a bottle. He can take a shot. Yes, he is open, which makes him look vulnerable. But that makes him also exciting as well. At times, he's going to go through a lot of criticism. A lot of analysation from everybody and anybody because of that style. But eventually that style will be appreciated.
So, throwaway question now. Would he have beaten Gravotsky on Saturday night? What do we think?
I think he would have. I think the timing would have been really good for him. Gravotsky would, you know, his only loss was to Marius Breedis, and there's no disgrace in that. You know, no disgrace in that at all. And I just think the timing would have been good for Coley.
And I actually thought
Usyk obviously beat him as well. But,
And I actually thought to myself, in a way, when he wins, if he beats Saturday, the world title, I thought that could be a curse because then he's a world champion and he has to fight the best in the world. He has to fight at that time, and so then he's got to learn on the job at world level. You know what? As you say, it might be a blessing. This has come about. He's got another one to do to get himself sorted out. But you look at the experience he's had.
Listen, boxing's all about timing, and he's got time on his side. He's only this will only develop him even more. I do believe that he would have won the world title on Saturday night, but it's only going to make him a better fighter. And as Johnny says, once he's won that world title, then he's in those tough fights all the time. So it's best he prepares now. It's not a bad thing.
Can I just ask you about fighting on the inside? One of the criticisms of not the amateur game at all. That sounds ridiculous. But some amateurs come over, and inside fighting is not necessarily an art form in the amateur code because it just doesn't happen. How do you learn to fight on the inside? That was one of the criticisms of Lawrence, that he perhaps didn't know what to do when he got tied up.
Lawrence has got long levers. He's very tall, so that's not his game. He doesn't really want to be on the inside. He wants to try and keep fighters at range because when he throws those shots, he likes to catch fighters when they're right on the end of the shot. So inside fighting is not his game. That's where he wants to tie fighters up. He wants to get inside. He doesn't want to be working in there.
Let me just break. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. I'm not sure if it's interview time or not. Sorry, Spenny, carry on.
So no, I'm saying he's not got that frame, so he doesn't want to be inside. So if I'm Lawrence Okoli, when a fighter gets inside of me, I do what he does, tie him up.
If I had an 82-inch reach, you wouldn't want to fight on the inside. But you've got to know what to do when you get there. Surely.
Tie them up. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science. People try and complicate boxing. It's just about doing the right things at the right time. And Lawrence Okoli does do that when his opponent gets inside, and that's what some people don't like. They go, oh, it looks messy, it's this, that, but actually it's effective, and that's why he gets the results, because he does the right things at the right time.
Just let me break for a second. Josh Pritchard is part of the team, former pro, now helps out Shane McGuigan in the training. Can I just quiz you, if you don't mind? Thank you for that. I've sprung this on you.
No problem,
Lawrence Okoli, what's he like in the gym?
A true professional in every way, really. At this camp, he's really shown what he's about. The camp's been from start to finish been brilliant. Flown in sparring partners, all lived in the same house. Chef's been in, all the box been ticked really. So as you can see, he's in unbelievable shape. So no, he's a true professional.
You've got a really good close-knit team there, and I'm sure that it would have been super important to rally around them because, just from a human point of view, it would have been easy to sulk. You built yourself up for this world title chance, and then all of a sudden, through no control of your own, it's ripped away from you. Did you guys have to say anything to him to get him back up, or was he seems very at ease with it?
No, he's he understands the process. These things happen in boxing. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last time. It's just such a shame that obviously it was for the world title and it's now not for the world title, but it will be there. Hopefully over the next fight or next couple, it'll be there.
Perfect, Josh. Thank you for joining us. Going to jump up on the ring apron and just speak to Lawrence. Lawrence, first things first. There, not often treated to a proper open workout. In fact, do you mind? Can I see the teeth?
Yes, you can.
Wow! Oh, I was not expecting that.
It's fight time.
Yeah,
get iced out.
It's looking good. It's looking good. We don't often see a proper pad routine. It was really nice for us to see that. What can we expect from you on Saturday night? What have you been working on that we might have seen there?
I'm just more confidence, sticking in harder shots, and kind of staying not in the pocket but in punching range. So I have to block a bit more head movement and then land hard shots.
Very heavy-handed naturally. One of the things that we've noticed that with Shane, he's really taught you to sort of punch through the target. Is that fair enough that that's something that that you have developed and you're perhaps punching harder now than you were earlier in your career?
Yeah, definitely. And it takes a bit of confidence to stay that little half inch closer with both the shots. So we've been working on that in sparring, on the pads and everything. So it's up to me to bring it out on Saturday.
What's your frame of mind heading into the weekend? No one would have blamed you if you would have been down on your luck a little bit. It's not the world title fight that you wanted, but you seem super relaxed and still super happy to be here. Yeah,
that's it. I'm obviously happy to be fighting. It's been a hard year for everyone. And ultimately, I've got a good fight and good fights in front of me. So I have to make sure that I'm 100% to get the victory. So I feel happy once I've got the victory.
If it has to go rounds, are you prepared for that? Or naturally, if you land, do you think it could go short?
Yeah, no, I'm ready for 12 rounds. That's what I've been training for. But if I do land, or when I do land early, I do think he'll feel it, and we'll see the beginning of the end quite early, but we'll see.
Perfect. Go well. Can you just give us a big smile down this camera, just so we can see that properly? Golden smile. Go well. From one golden smile to another, Spencer Oliver. Not quite the same dental work. Not quite the same dental work, taking nothing away. He's talking the right fight there, isn't he?
Listen, he looks in a good place. You know, he seems happy. You know, he was meant to be boxing for the world title. I know how I'd be feeling if I was meant to be boxing for the world title and it wasn't happening. I'd be gutted. But he's dealt with it well. He's dealt with it like a professional. Seems like he's in a great place. He looks really sharp there as well. You know, when a fighter's hitting the pads and the timing, you know whether the timing's just off or whatever. He looks like he's got it spot on. Training camp's obviously gone very, very well. He's in a good place and he's fighting, and that's the most important thing. He's gaining that valuable experience. He will get his world title shot at some point, you know, and I think that will be early part of next year. But it's only going to benefit him. I think this is, again, just valuable experience at a good level. This is a tough fight for him, by the way, because he's an unknown quantity, and Lawrence hasn't had a lot of time to prepare for this. But from what we've seen of his opponent, we saw him in here having a workout, and he was letting the shots go a little bit. He was working the angles, switching the shots, seems tall, got good levers himself. It's not an easy fight, this. It's a potential banana skin. So Lawrence has got to be on his game. He's got to be on the ball. And if he comes through this one, which I expect he will, he gets that world title shot.
Let's just flick the switch, Adam Smith. If you're Nico Zajewski, I asked him, I was like, just talk us through what happened. He said, I'm cradling my 4-month-old baby. The phone rings. It took me 10 seconds to say yes. What an opportunity to change your life. I mean, that's boxing all over, isn't it? But what an opportunity to change his life. He comes here, okay, yes, preparation not ideal, but the platform and the chance, I mean, you can't write it. What a rocky story it would be if he pulled it off.
Opportunity knocks, doesn't it? You know, I remember back in the day, Steve Robinson taking he was a warehouse worker and he took a shot at 48 hours notice, I think, for the world title. And then he went on and defended it numerous times, eventually losing to Nassim Hamid. You know, these don't come around all the time. He's unbeaten. He's got a kid now, so that's extra motivation to get over and try and chance his arm. And look, you know, it may be that Lawrence Okoli has prepared for a certain style. He might catch him on an off night. He is an underdog going through, but he's got this record to protect. So, very excited about this fight, but very impressed with how cool and calm Lawrence Okoli looks as we see Kubrat Pulev coming in, and look at him. He's a character, isn't he? He's been so amiable and personable all week, and he seems to be really enjoying the experience.
Yeah, here we go. First view for everybody at home of the challenger. Yeah. And as Adam said, Spencer, first thing is super relaxed. If there are any nerves, he's got a great poker face.
Andy, listen, he's been like that all week. He's been like that since Monday. Actually, he seems to be getting more relaxed as the closer we get into the fight, which is very unusual. You know, I asked him the question, do you see this as a difficult fight? Do you think that Joshua was more difficult than when Klitschko was, 6 years ago when you boxed Klitschko? Do you see Joshua a tougher task? He said, yeah, but the difference between now and when I boxed Klitschko was when I boxed Klitschko, I was sort of green. He said, I didn't know what I was going into. It was an early part of my career. He said, now I've learned from that, and that makes me a better fighter. I mean, listen, he fist pumps us as he walks past, and I've got to say this. I've got to put it out there.
This is not a joke either.
No, but my hands, I know they're small. I know my hands are small, but they're conditioned, right? And he walked past, and I've given him a little fist pump, and wow, mate.
I'm not joking. I made a joke, and he slapped me on the back, and he slapped me into Sunday.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening. I've still got the mark. My back is still singing, and I'm not exaggerating.
I was actually there when he done that slap, and I did see him. I see. Well, not hard to you, but not to him.
But I'm getting the raving up because Babic strangled me the other week. He's hit me on the back. What's going on?
And what I'm saying is, he's a very physically strong man, and every time you mention, I say, you're looking forward to the fight, you ready? His eyes light up. You know, some fighters you can see in them, you think that the fear's in them or whatever. His eyes light up, and he does this little shadow box, and he throws. Even when he's shadow boxing, the punches look solid. He's just got that solid look about him. He's slimmed down. He recognises. He said it himself. 39 years of age. I know this is the last roll of the dice. He said when this fight was originally made, when he had to pull out for injury, he said that his trainer said to him, "Do you want to go through with this for the money?"
Should we just expand on this story?
Yeah.
So he told us that he felt some pain inside.
Yeah.
It was a muscular injury.
Yes.
And Uli Wegner said, "You'll be all right. You'll be all right." And they came to train and they couldn't do it. He said, "What do you want to do? Do you want to go and fight for the money, or do you want to fight for the win?" And he said, "I'm want to fight for the win. He said then we pull out, and he
Listen,
did, and he pulled out a piece. That does say a lot about him, doesn't it?
And I would imagine with the world that we're living in right now, he's probably getting less money now than when he was getting it then, which tells you, that's what I'm saying, it tells you how hungry a fighter he is. Even at this stage, he's not coming here for the money, he's not coming here to make up the numbers. He wants a shot at the world heavyweight title against the best. And listen, he's a dangerous guy. The Klitschko fight, go back to the Klitschko fight when he got his first world title opportunity. He threw a jab in the first round. His jab's like a right hand, like a backhand, and Klitschko done like a little break dance, and he jumped up.
Just before he got knocked down.
But then he got knocked down in the first, he got knocked down in the third, he got knocked down in the fourth, he got knocked out in the fifth. But the powers of recovery were incredible. What I'm saying is this guy has got a lot in the locker. You know, he's a dangerous guy and he's a live opponent, and Anthony Joshua knows that as well. You know, this is not just one of those fights that's filling time before the Fury fight. This is one of those fights that Joshua's really got to take seriously. I mean, this guy I'm looking at him now, he looks in phenomenal condition, he really does.
Worrying me a little bit, he's looking right at you as well. I mean, he probably was. He was proper eyeballing you and staring you down. Then how's your heart rate? Were you a bit worried there?
No, I've got to tell you a little story actually. So, like, I just sort of connected with Kubrat Pulev and his whole team right from the beginning since I got in here. And so anyway, his trainer comes up to me today, and I said, "Yeah, no, he's looking good and everything else." He said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I said, "No, I won a European title off a guy called Martin Krestev, who was Bulgarian. He's Martin Krestev's trainer."
Oh, how lovely!
And he said, Martin Krestev, I said, "Oh, I boxed Martin." He said, "I remember you, you're a good fighter and all that." And then Kubrat's brother come up. So what I'm saying is I've got a history with them without even knowing.
How funny.
So I had this bond with them that I've had for a couple of days, and they just come out with the stories today. So it was like, yeah, it was really nice. But
people will say, look, you're hyping him up.
Because the camera don't take me.
He's saying he's not going quick because of the cameras here. He's keeping it. He's keeping it for Saturday, as they always do.
Everyone has a mind game when it comes to a public workout, don't they? Everybody.
Do you remember Vladimir and AJ watching each other? You know, before their fight at Wembley.
I can see Angel Fernandez is over here.
Can I
from AJ's team watching? I can see a couple over.
Can I just touch on something that you said there? That people were saying, yeah, we're bigging him up and everything else, right? You look at his resume, you look at his record, right? He's lost once to Klitschko, but what I will say is, don't worry about the age, because the age is just a number. The age is just a number.
He looks in terrific condition. Look at the legs, Spencer.
He does. And what I'm saying is, when Povetkin came over to box Dillian White, everyone was on about, oh, he's 40, this and that. Povetkin proved he still had a lot left. But Adam is right, and I was going to pick up on that, Adam, that when Kubrat Pulev got in the ring there, he's bouncing around on his toes. He's showing us a lot of head movement. He looks slimmed down. So they've obviously got a game plan that they've come in with here with Joshua. You know, against Klitschko, he was very flat-footed. He was pushing forward. He's got a great dominant jab as well. We saw that against Hughie Fury. And we also saw that against Derek Chisora. They couldn't get past that jab. He uses that so well, so effective. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this fight, because I think Pulev's he's a bit of an unknown quantity to the general public, but this guy poses a big threat. And that's not me selling the fight, by the way, because I hate that when they say, yeah, you're just selling the fight, etc. What I'm saying is he's a live opponent.
My point was more, sorry, you make a very valid point, Spencer. What I was going to say was, we asked him, didn't we, would the Pulev now beat the Pulev of 2017?
Yeah.
He's going to beat AJ, and he said that I'm a better Pulev now. I'm a better fighter. I was too green back then. I was too raw. That is very interesting, because actually he's had 8 straight wins.
He's had 8 wins since the Klitschko fight.
But he has had 6 fights in 5 years, which isn't necessarily the momentum he probably would have liked.
No, but he's been boxing at a good standard. I mean, you're talking about beating Hughie Fury just a couple of fights ago. In 2018, he beat Hughie Fury. In 2017, he beat Derek Chisora. What I'm saying is, these are good standard fighters, and he's still and they were convincing wins as well.
You can look at it 2 ways, Andy. You can say he's been inactive and he's missing that ring experience, but the experience he's had throughout his amateur and professional career makes up for that. He could be fresh, and he could be fresh and ready for this challenge. He's waited for this. Let's have a look at him skipping here.
Just while you're doing that, I'm just going to throw a couple of questions that have come in on our social media channels. Hudson says, do not overlook Pulev. European Championship gold, huge man, huge reach, very experienced. Yeah, a lot of people making a lot about his amateur pedigree. But AJ did win an Olympic gold, though.
AJ did win an Olympic gold.
This guy had a deep amateur record. You know, he has real pedigree, and we heard the story about the father and the brothers and how, you know, his father fought, and he basically was born to box. Kubrat Pulev.
Listen,
AJ wasn't.
His father got him into the boxing when he was a young child. Him and his brother, because they wanted him to become a world champion. Lost his father when he was 2007, and said that it's his destiny to win this world title. He's using that as motivation now in this fight, which is an added incentive. I spoke to his brother about it. His brother, you know, they're very emotional about that, and they recognise they're running out of time to win the world title, and that's give him, you know, added motivation.
Say it quietly. He's looking over. Actually, I'll ask a different question. Toby, Shane McGuigan is a very underestimated trainer.
I'm just talking about you. That's all. Just talking about you. It's all good.
Yeah, my question was going to be thanks.
I wouldn't tell him otherwise.
No, I mean, the question I was going to ask, Graham says, I think AJ wins in the first half of the fight. Do you agree? Obviously, you can see why I didn't ask that while Steve was watching over.
Some people feel that. Some people feel that, you know, he'll be slow at 39, that, you know, Joshua will be too fast and sharp. And you could potentially see that coming, but I'm not so sure. You know, Pulev's going to be dangerous with that big thudding jab early. And I think, you know, Joshua is going to have to take a little time to ascertain control.
Yeah.
I think he's going to want to try things out in there and show us what he's worked on this year. I don't see it as a particularly short fight.
Listen, we've got to remember that Pulev's got a lot of durability as well. I think that's still sort of not been mentioned too much. I think a lot of people go by that 4 knockdown fight with Klitschko in 2014, but this guy's been in with some big punches. He's very durable. He's very cagey. He knows his way around the ring, like you say, Adam. He's not learnt it just in a professional ring. He's got a tremendous amateur pedigree as well.
Klitschko was at the peak of his powers when he fought Kubrat Pulev, whereas he wasn't when he fought Anthony Joshua, Klitschko.
Yeah, interesting.
The Baron says we're speaking a lot about the strength of... Oh, I think this could be my cue, guys. Kubrat, thank you very much for joining us. You're looking very good spirits. You seem very, very relaxed. Just how much are you looking forward to Saturday?
So Saturday is the day for me. It's the most important day in my career, my life, because I trained from 12 years old. I was 14 years old, first time champion of Bulgaria, 48 kilo. Just big guy. And yeah, this is my dream from my father, and now I'm here. I feel very good, amazing, a lot of power, and I hope we win.
If that power is true and real power, do you believe that you can knock Anthony Joshua out? Are you coming here to win by knockout?
Yes. I don't know, knockout or just I need the win. I need this win because this is World Championship, and I want to do this first for my father, second for my country, for my sport, Bulgarian sport, boxing, Bulgarian, everything. I have a lot of things, not only for me.
If it does turn into a technical boxing match, do you believe that you are a better boxer than Anthony Joshua as well?
Yeah, so it's difficult to say, but it's little bit, it's not so small, you know.
What about the bubble? I don't think you and Anthony.
Nice.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you haven't.
Nice.
You haven't crossed paths with Anthony Joshua yet in the hotel. How are you finding the whole bubble experience in your experience in the UK?
I never been in the same situation, and I hope the world gonna good. And I think this is so short now, and bubble, and difficult to make sport, and you know. But I like in the bubble here. Everybody's very kind, and we can training here. It's relax. I like.
If we were doing this fight in Bulgaria, we know that it would be a football stadium full of Bulgarian fans. A lot of people will be watching back home. Do you have a message for everybody back home that's supporting you?
Yeah, will be interesting fight for sure, for everybody, not only for Bulgarian people, all the world, and gonna watch.
When you failed in your first world title attempt, you said, I was too green, I was too raw. Does the Kubrat Pulev that stands here now, are you ready? Do you believe that this is your time?
Yes, I'm ready. I know this is my time, and I want this fight, and I support this fight all the time, and I wait so long time for this fight. And 2-3 years, and I tell the all fans, don't scare. 2017, I was not scared or nothing, just was a little problem, yeah. But now I'm here, and I promise the people we are done, yeah? Good, thank you.
Very well. Thank you very much. Sorry, I got the TV universal. You need to let him go and wind him up, so I did.
I think I was pulling your leg at the time.
Yeah. I mean, we started it out, but that was very much a cutthroat. We're done now,
Listen,
are we?
this is live TV, mate. This is what happens.
Yeah, stay with us. Not surprisingly, talking a very good game.
Listen, he's not just talking a good game. You know when a fighter's generally up for it, generally in a good place. He looked physically in great shape when we first caught eyes on him. I thought, yeah, great, and he was talking the talk. And as Anthony Joshua come into the building, I thought that his mood might change, but it hadn't.
The old classic, Andy, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. And he seems extraordinarily at ease and happy.
Yeah, I was watching professional people. There you go. It looks
professional, Andy.
I don't know.
That was to you.
I don't know who he's talking about. Is he talking about us? He's talking about Spenny. He's saying professional people. He must be talking about us. I don't know. Look, he's not here now. Is he? Yes. Look. The question I wanted to ask, we spoke about his strengths, we didn't speak about his weaknesses. Some people I see commenting there, he does come forward, the chin does go up a tiny little bit. If you're Anthony Joshua, is that your number one target there?
I'll tell you about where his weaknesses are. His weaknesses are here. He carries his left hand out wide, he carries his right hand here in front. Now, how he got caught with Klitschko, the 4 knockdowns with Klitschko were all by left hooks. Klitschko was feinting the jab, drawing the hands out even further and landing the left hook, and the last one obviously finished him off. He hasn't changed that style, he's still here. We saw him shadowboxing here. If he comes out like that, may change things up for a little while, but he will ultimately go back here. He leans back, Eastern European sort of style, and he leaves himself wide open. So if Joshua's worked on that, and he's worked on that left hook, we've seen Joshua actually in the warm-up to this, in the build-up to this fight, winding up the left hooks, working on the left hooks. That's a key shot for Joshua in this fight, and that's the vulnerabilities of Kubrat Pulev, is that he leaves himself wide open, not just on the left side, but he carries that right hand too far out as well, and that's dangerous against a power puncher like Joshua.
You lot have been allowed to go upstairs, so this is my first time I can say it. First eyes on the champ in the bubble. Great to see him. He's going to do a brief interview with our colleagues over at Sky Sports News, then he's going to start his workout, so keep your comments and questions coming in, guys. Joystick says, Pulev looks very slim. What do you think his game plan will be? Now, we argued about this plenty on the podcast. I suggested to Johnny that I thought that he may well come and try and box, make it a boxing match. Johnny Nelson, very much the opposite. He said, I think he's going to go for broke early. You disagreed, didn't you?
Yeah, I did disagree. I think he's come in great shape, and I think he'll have a tactics, and I think he'll have a plan based on his attributes, which are ultimately that he's got a super jab. And yes, Spencer's mentioned the sort of Eastern European style. This is a style that he's grafted at for a long time. He mentioned to you, Andy, that he's been doing this since the age of 12. Remember, Joshua didn't start till he was 18. So this is honed in him. And he would have messed about with his brother as kids as well. And they would have got those basics very, very early on. I think he's coming in light because I think he's coming in to utilize those boxing attributes. And I believe that he'll want to establish that jab, and he'll just make sure, or try and make sure, that Joshua doesn't get that rhythm early, because if he does, if Joshua starts beating him to the jab, I think he could be in real trouble, Kubrat Pulev. So I think he's come in light. I think the feet look good. I think the legs look well. He's relaxed and happy, and I think he's going to go in there with a real plan, and that plan is to try and outbox Joshua at times in the early part of the fight, and then hope, like Andy Ruiz did, that the stamina will go and that he'll be able to catch him mid to late. That's what I think Pulev's tactics are, and if not, he'll try and outbox him for the distance, but it's easier said than done.
Listen, what do you think?
Yeah, he's got that. Look, Pulev's got that experience. As we said, he's been boxing as a young child. He boxed at the elite level as an amateur. You know, winning Europeans. He's boxed at the highest level. He knows how to fiddle his way through fights. He's got a tremendous jab. His main weapon in his armoury is his jab. He knows how to break fighters down. He knows how to keep fighters at distance. He knows how to put fighters under pressure with that jab. He's going to use all that with Joshua. Joshua's coming very slim as well. I believe it's going to be a bit of a cagey start from both guys. There'll be respect from both guys. There's a lot on the line here, Andy, not just for Anthony Joshua. They're talking about the Tyson Fury fight. You know, that could happen as early as spring of next year. You know, there's Alexander Usyk's there as well. There's a lot on the line for both sides. Pulev loses, it's effectively career over. Joshua loses, we loses all those big fights. They're not just going to come out throwing bombs. That won't happen. I think that both guys, you know, Joshua's still a work in progress. Joshua's still learning. Pulev is sort of like the finished article. You know, he's had that experience of boxing for the world titles. He's had that experience as an amateur, top level. And yeah, so I think it might start off a little bit of a chess match, but ultimately I think the first guy that lands a clean shot, you know, could turn things around and quite quickly. Joshua's really got to be on the ball here, because this is not an easy opponent. It's not, you know, he's the mandatory challenger for the IBF title, Pulev. But Joshua, I think he recognises he's in a real fight. We can see that by the mindset of Pulev.
George 2776, what do you think the future holds for both AJ and Pulev after December 12th? That is interesting. You know, I mean, the big one is the name that we're not really supposed to be mentioning this week, which is Tyson Fury.
We can mention Tyson Fury. I think Anthony Joshua's got his mind absolutely set on Kubrat Pulev, and of course Pulev just wants to try and become the first world heavyweight champion ever from his country in Bulgaria and cause a massive upset, of course. But we've got to talk about Tyson Fury
on, bro?
too.
You good?
There he is.
Good to see you, guys. We're doing a few fist bumps there. Don't want to leave
this is interesting, right? Because I've said all week, Andy, that being in his camp and having the privilege to go up a few weeks ago and spending some time around them made me really think about Klitschko's camps and Lennox Lewis's camps. And everything was done methodically, and everything was done to bring the best out in the fighter over a long period of time. It was an exercise in education. I like the fact that already they're going to do stuff before he even gets going here. They're going to look to, you know, tape him up. They're going to look to maybe stretch him. You know, Lennox Lewis spent 45 minutes, maybe an hour even, before he started doing any boxing when he was being taped by Emmanuel Stewart with Harold Knight in the ear as well. I like this setup now. Robert McCracken has taken him so far. Robert McCracken is the general. He calls him the Alex Ferguson, doesn't he, Rob McCracken? But he's got Angel Fernandez, Joby Clayton, and a whole team around him now of experts and of different viewpoints. And I think they're all working on trying to make Anthony Joshua a more complete fighter who will be able to deal with the challenges of people like Tyson Fury, dangerous challenges going forwards.
One thing I should say is the reason he's doing all of this is because this isn't just for the cameras. He's going to do a little bit before we get another proverbial wind up, and then he's going to do a full session tonight.
Look,
I think they've got the gym booked out till nearly midnight.
Listen,
so this is not just for the cameras.
But this is meticulous preparation, and it's something that I didn't used to see in Joshua camps.
But I know that AJ, you know, I've known AJ right back from the amateur days, and I know how AJ likes to work. He's meticulous in what he does, and AJ will be having a full workout today. You know, a lot of fighters at this stage, a lot of fighters will sort of be winding down. AJ likes to work right up until the fight. That's the way that he operates. So, you know, that's why he's doing this. He wants to prepare himself properly, because he will be going through a full workout tonight.
Can I just ask, the family link is Johnny Oliver, who's your uncle.
Yes.
They're super close, aren't they? They're
Yeah,
like family.
well, Johnny trained him up until he won the Olympics. So John was a trainer along with Sean Murphy. So John was sort of like a trainer, and John's really like a mentor to him. He calls him the Godfather, actually, because John's been around him right from the beginning, and he's been around right from the beginning of the professional career. Anthony flies John all over the world with him, training. It's like, do you know, it's like a comfort blanket.
See him, don't you?
Well, it's like a comfort blanket. When you've got fights of this sort of magnitude, and something's not there, one of your trainers not there or whatever, it can affect a fighter's mindset. My uncle's sort of like part of that furniture. That AJ, you've seen AJ, he likes a lot of people around him. He moves in the same circles. He's here with like 15, 20 people that he'll be like that. You know, that are all part of the team. They all got that
He's
value.
been criticised a lot for this massive entourage, but you know,
That's the way he rolls.
But there are a great deal of them that go way back,
Yeah.
and the new ones that have come in have come in for a purpose.
Yeah, the boxing people. Does this not remind you as when we went to watch Klitschko train?
Adam just fed you this on a bit of paper.
No, honestly, I swear to God, I straight away I said to Rob over there, I said, that's a Klitschko move. Everything he's doing now, he's learned from someone that he looks
And
up to.
Klitschko learned it from Lennox Lewis, and Manny Stewart was
But do you know-
the godfather of all of this.
Do you know AJ is like a sponge, even at this stage. He's world champion now, right? And AJ's like a sponge. If you speak to him, Adam, if you spoke to him, Johnny, he asks you a question like a child, but he soaks it up and he takes it in. See, now he's not like, right, it's my way. I'm the finished article. I'm the undisputed champion. AJ's not like that. AJ's a very grounded kid that he'll go, I like what Klitschko does. I like that setup. I want to do it. He'll know that we've been talking about, oh, this is very Klitschko-esque. You know, this is what he done. AJ don't worry about that. He likes, if he likes something, he takes it on board.
He's clever, isn't he? Because, you know, it was the passing of the torch at the stadium when they fought, and he's utilised Vladimir ever since as a sort of mentor, as a friend, as somebody he can get advice from. And it's all about that, Johnny, isn't it? You had that through your career. It's all about learning, education.
And then, so as he talks, as you see him move, as you look at his body structure, to me, it tells me he's boxing more than anything else. Boxing, Brendan wants to do it like it was second nature, like walking, talking, drinking water. You've got to be in there all the time. I just said to Rob, he's boxing a lot more, isn't he? He said, Johnny, more or less all the time. He's in the ring, he's on the bag. You know, instead of doing 50% of the time here, 50% of the time in a weight room. And when he talks, he's using boxing terminology. He's referring back to fights. I'm thinking, this kid is now immersed himself. He's become a fighter. This is a dress rehearsal for preparation for the Fury fight. I'm telling you, everything about it.
Sorry to cut off. Just on that, you just said looking at his body shape. So you've been upstairs and you've seen him, and you've seen the training videos we had from Sheffield. It's the question that I always hate asking because I think he always quizzes me on his weight. Corey Johar has said, AJ going to come in at high 17 stone by the looks of it.
No way. Low 17.
No way. When he fought Carlos Takam, when he was meant to fight Pulev the first time, Johnny and I had a big debate on the Friday night because he came in, I believe, far too heavy for that fight. He was over 18 stone. He wasn't right. He is a 17, 3, 4, 5 type fighter. That's what he's got to come in at.
That's where he's best. That's where he utilises all his attributes. You know, AJ's when he comes in at light 17s, he's up on his toes. He's very like explosive in when he lets his shots go. That's where he develops all that power from. You see, he pushes away from his feet. When he's heavy, he's a little bit more grounded. He's a little bit slower. You know, so I think that he's recognised. I spoke to Freddie Cunningham actually, who told me the same thing. He said, "Listen, Spence, we've binned all the weights. We're not working on it now. It's all cardio. It's all boxing." As Johnny said, he's learning. He's looking at old fights now. He never used to be a historian of the fights. You know, if you talked about heavyweights of the past, he wouldn't even know who they were. Now he's studying it. He's learning all the time. He's in a really good stage of his career. He's developing at the right time right now. And this is crazy to say because we're talking about the world heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist, and we're still talking about him not being the finished article.
But
he's still a work in progress.
You were there right at the beginning. He came into your gym. He started as a late teenager.
He was 18.
He was 18. This guy was he was an athlete. He played football. You know, he didn't want to go boxing until his cousin, Benga, who's with him all the time, great guy, and you know, he tried it out and he brought him down, and that was that. You know, it's not that long. He's 31 now, and think where he's come since he was 18. Whereas we know Pulev started at 12. He's 39. That's 27 years.
Adam, he was 18 when he walked in the gym, 19 by the time he won the ABA title, and 21 by the time he won world silver, 22 by the time he was Olympic champion. This kid had only just put on a pair of gloves, so all of a sudden he's Olympic champion, turning pro, and he's only been boxing 3 or 4 years. The rise has been incredible. It really has. He was pro 3 years, I think, before he won the world title. So he's world champion, but still developing. He's still really a raw novice at that stage. You know, so as Johnny said, now he's just exploring, looking into other fights, seeing stuff, taking other stuff on board, and that creates a better fighter.
And didn't the really good heavyweight champions of recent years, I'm talking Vitaly Klitschko, Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, of course, they got better and better with age. They developed. You know, a lot of their peaks were around the 32, 33, 34 time, and they learned, didn't they? They learned from their mistakes, and they got back and they developed into better all-round fighters.
Johnny, pretty simple question. What do you want to see from Anthony on Saturday night? I know you've already been upstairs and spoke to him in the hotel. What do you think?
I want to see him box and bash. And I'll keep using that term until the fight comes. I want to see him box, step up the pace, use his boxing, set up shots, let a shot in, and then slowly but surely put the pressure on as the rounds go around. The reason why I want him to do that is because if the Fury fight comes off, he's preparing himself to adapt what he's doing in the gym in the ring. I want to see what shots he can get away with, what chances he's going to take. Pulev is nothing like Tyson Fury, but this is a chance for him to transfer what he does in the gym in the ring against a competitive opponent. If he can control Pulev and pull off the moves he's done in the gym, he's prepared for, that to me is a great way to prepare for tomorrow. And so this is what it's all about. I want to see him boxing more than he says I want to get in Avatero. We Avatero, but box first.
We barely spoke about the 1,000 fans, and I don't know if I'm getting too fixated on this, but there is something in my mind. It would have been so surreal to see him boxing in an empty arena, because it would have just, you're never going to get that again, I don't think. It was so weird. 1,000 fans, it's going to be a massive advantage to him, isn't it?
It's going to be a huge advantage to him, but you've got to remember, it wasn't so long ago AJ was boxing in tournaments, European games, world championships, abroad, in front of one man and his dog. So what I'm saying is that was not a million years ago. That's what I say, AJ's moved at such a rate that wouldn't have bothered him too much, and that's why he accepted. He came to see Derek Chisora fighting against Usyk at there, and that's when he decided, I want to do this. Because he could have quite easily said, you know what, I don't like this, it's a little bit, it's not no atmosphere in here, and I don't want to do it. He chose to do that, not knowing he was going to get the 1,000 fans in. The 1,000 fans, yes, they will be a massive plus, because there's a 12,500 arena. It will be echoing in there. We've got 1,000 people that haven't been able to go boxing for a long time. They will be going absolutely nuts, and that will be an advantage for AJ. But I think that AJ is he's just got to, what I would like to see from him is a calculated performance. I'd like to see him taking his time, but when he gets that opportunity, I want to see him explosive, and I want to see him attack that with confidence. Where he's not a little bit hesitant and maybe waiting that split second too long. I want to see it, and when he gets that, AJ's good when he throws punches in bunches. Forget the single shots. When he opens up and goes, tucks his chin down and lets the shot go.
One exception to that rule, though, isn't there? The only fight where he hasn't closed a show, he's such a good finisher. The only fight where he didn't close a show was Ruiz, the first fight. Am I right? Am I missing one?
No, Parker as well. Joseph Parker. He
never had Parker hurt, did he?
No. But what I'm saying is he was very cautious in Parker. He technically got it perfect. He got it spot on. But yeah, he was very cautious in that.
But that's why I want to see him be able to control. I want to be able to see him outbox him. I want to be able to let him listen to instructions. I want to see him be in a position where he's controlling a world-class fighter. Because I just want to see how much he's improved. Because this year off, he's boxed and boxed and boxed, and if he can show that here, it's all about preparation for tomorrow. And so this to me, it's an assessment. This is for him to lose. This is for him to lose. It's a tough fight, but this is for him to lose at this stage in his life, at this stage in the career.
What we've seen from AJ in recent performances, that he showed us that he can stay disciplined for 12 rounds. We didn't know if he would be able to do that in the Ruiz Jr. Immediate rematch. I thought that was a big ask, to stay disciplined and keep boxing for 12 rounds. That was always a worry and a concern for me. So when he's done that, it's another box ticked for me for AJ. He's proved that he can have a fight when he wants to, stay disciplined when he wants to as well. There's a lot more in his armoury now, AJ. He's much more of a completed fighter from that loss from Ruiz Jr.
I think, right now, he's comfortable, he feels at ease. Nobody's putting him under pressure, putting him under a pace to say, right, come on, I've got to do this, I've got to rush through it. He's happy to take his time. I have a funny feeling he's going to start doing a little bit and we're going to all get kicked out. That's what will happen. I know they said he's got this place away.
And that's fair enough. This is a full training session, and they want to keep this guarded. I understand that.
Listen, we know. Look, We've seen what AJ's been doing. Adam, you've been up there, you've been up close and personal in the training camp. You know the commitment he's put in. We know what...
I've seen him spar, Spencer. I've watched him, and,
Yeah.
and I've seen him spar different sparring partners, and it's been very, very impressive. We see Rob McCracken coming over, the chief.
Yeah, let's have a quick word with Rob McCracken. Rob, we are live on our Sky Sports stream. How are you finding the bubble? You can just for this interview, yeah. Yeah, you can. Not for this interview, you can take it off, yeah, as long as you put it back on. How are you finding the bubble?
Yeah, it's been good so far. Yeah, good hotel. All the facilities are here. He's happy. We're up on the floor. We're all together. So yeah, it's all good.
What's the mood like in the camp?
Really good. He's had a really good training camp. He's worked really hard. He's worked on a lot of boxing, a lot of sparring. Worked long and hard. Stuck to the strategy in sparring, which is really vital to him. Because sometimes, you know, he drifts every now and again, but he's got it right over the last few weeks. He's boxed really well in the gym, so just looking forward to him putting on a good performance.
I always compare every fight camp and fighter during fight week to Carl Froch, because he was a nightmare through the whole training camp to interview and to be around. Then on fight night, he was as good as gold, and he was like, yeah, because it's all done now. What's Anthony like? Is he nervous around this sort of time, or is he totally relaxed, like you say?
No, he's pretty relaxed at the minute. When the training camp is off, it's hard work, isn't it? Like 5 days a week for 12, 13 weeks. So he seems pretty happy. He's relaxed. He had a good session this morning. Going to come in and do a little bit of light sparring now, just to get his time in. But yeah, he's looking forward to it.
Have you bumped into Kubrat Pulev, or I mean, even just not in the dinner queue, but even walking around the hotel? Have you been completely a part? Have they locked horns at all?
No, I think we've passed by once or twice over the last couple of days, but that's been about it. But pretty separate, really, to be honest. And training times have been good. Don't bump into each other, and you know you can get on with it.
You said before, we're not really concerned too much with what Pulev's going to do because we're concentrating on ourselves. Just now that the fight is here, are you expecting anything different from Kubrat Pulev? We just asked him when he was in the ring, look, is this going to be a boxing match or is this going to be a war? He said that he wants a war. Is that what you expect, or is he double bluffing?
You just don't know until they get in there on the night, and obviously he looks slim, he looks like he's lost a little bit of weight, so you know his fitness levels will be good. So you know he might come on the front foot behind his jab and be a little bit more aggressive than he normally is. But you know, by all sense and purposes, he's a boxer, a pressure boxer, so we expect him to put pressure on behind the jab and try and come forward. You know, Anthony's prepared for that, so it's going to be a fantastic fight. And you know, Kubrat Pulev's only ever lost to Klitschko. He's got a brilliant record, so he's top class world heavyweight boxer.
If you guys put everything into action now that you've worked on, what sort of fight and what will the result be? Are you expecting that if AJ does everything that AJ is capable of, that this fight goes inside the distance, or would you be happy with a punch-perfect points win?
Yeah, I just think Pulev's a top fighter, so you know, and Anthony Joshua win against Kubrat Pulev will be a great achievement, great for his resume, and you know he's a top fighter, Pulev. So as long as he wins, that's what the plan is.
You know what this game is. You're always going to be sick of asking questions. Has the Tyson Fury question been put to you yet? Are you sort of shutting that one out because we made that mistake before against Ruiz? Is it just kind of like, look, we can talk about that after the fight, it's all about Kubrat Pulev?
Yeah, no, it's heavyweight boxing. You've got to take one fight at a time. You'd be silly to look past it. Pulev's a top fighter. He's mandatory challenger, and he's a challenger for a reason. He's a top heavyweight, so very dangerous. Well, real good pressure fighter behind the jab. So AJ's got to be prepared for that. Use his reach and control the distance, and box his way to a win.
Nice one. Thank you very much for joining us, Rob. Go back round just to see what's going on with AJ here. Still just getting the hands wrapped at the minute. What we're going to do, we're going to switch hands here. Johnny, never expect anything different from Rob McCracken. He is understated, but he's a great fit for AJ in terms of just to flex any pressure. Doesn't take the highs too high, doesn't take the lows too low. He's just very much in the middle, very matter of fact.
Yeah, he was. I was speaking to him earlier on. He said, "I've got him using his feet a lot more, and he's very happy and very comfortable." I said, "Is he boxing more?" And he said, "Johnny, twice a day, at least twice a day." And I like that. Then he started talking about fighters. He actually spoke about when he boxed an old stablemate of mine, Martin Smith. And so he said that awkwardness, that boxing style is what I want. That's what I want from him. And I think he's making a good job in the situation.
We've been here, 15, 20 minutes, and they take one of his hands up. This is Emmanuel Stewart all over. This is Vladimir Klitschko talking to Anthony Joshua and telling him what he needs to do to go to the next level. It's really, really fascinating to see. It's like going back in time, Andy.
It's controlling his environment. That's what Klitschko did. Klitschko, he had to have control of every aspect of his fight game. He may have gone a bit obsessed about it, but what he's doing here, what AJ's doing here, is he's controlling the time of his environment. He's doing things at his own pace.
It's also about being meticulous in what you do. AJ's always done that in everything he does training-wise. He's meticulous in his training, you know, down to the footwork. He's working on different shots. He'll just repeat the jab time for hours. He's doing that in his preparation now as well, which is key. When you get to this level, you've got to look after hands. You've got to get it right. You know, we see a lot of fighters just whacking their own wraps on, and you know, it's all a little bit rough and ready. AJ's at this level now, you know, he's the golden goose, he's like the star kid, he's got to do things right, he's got to be meticulous about doing that.
There's no easy nights at this level.
There's no easy nights at this level, and he knows that he's in for a real fight. He said that off camera, he said he knows that Pulev is a live opponent. You know, it's not an opponent that's just been picked to get a few rounds out before he goes in. Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is it's an opponent that, even though he's mandatory, it's an opponent that he knows, he recognises is a live opponent. It's a dangerous fight, you know.
AJ said in the build-up, the challenger is always boosted by about 20%. That's how much it raises someone's game. Would you agree with that?
At Pulev's stage of his career, yeah, because you know he's talked about he's not doing it for financial reasons or anything. Pulev, he's comfortable with what he's doing. He said he wants to do it for his country. He wants to do it for his father, which is a big motivation. He lost his father. It was always his father's dream for him to become world heavyweight champion. He's got a lot of motivation to do it, and also he'll recognise that this is the last roll of the dice. He won't get another shot, and that makes you a dangerous guy.
I think he just looks so relaxed, doesn't he? And you can see the team sort of all around him on the other side of the ring. Robert McCracken there talking with Angel Hernandez. You know, there's not a rivalry there.
No.
They're all working together, and you know, Rob's a pretty sort of strict, meticulous trainer himself. So the fact that he's opened his eyes to a couple of new guys coming in is really impressive.
You know what, sorry, I was going to say you need to, when you get to certain levels and things can get a little bit stale, you need to add something else to your game.
And Rob has recognised that he has taken AJ to a level that he'd ever dreamt. Now he needed to inspire him, to give him something else to up his game. So adding all the additions to the camp. Ego, there's no space for ego in this team. You wouldn't know who was a head honcho, and you wouldn't know who was a beginner, who was a new schooler. And that's what I like, there's no ego there. Everybody's got the same cause, the same drive, they're all moving in the same direction.
What about the effect of the bubble? It's very much like his amateur days. I'm not sure how much the bubble is going to have an effect. They've got a great setup here that he doesn't have to mix with the rest of us. He's got his own floor with his whole team. You know, they can chill. We've lost Spencer. Spencer's having a personal chat with him, old friends.
Spencer's talking about familiarity, you know, the fact that his uncle's always, you know, there and around, even though he doesn't train him anymore. And, you know, they go way back, these two. And I think that's, you know, it's a relaxing thing for Anthony, isn't it? That, you know, so many people over the years have come into the story. But Spencer is somebody that goes right back to the beginning.
Don't think we should listen into the conversation necessarily, but
Johnny's just gone round.
We lost him. Don't worry, we've lost him. What about Tyson Fury? You think he'll be here on Saturday? There's all this talk, we're teasing it, aren't we?
I swapped messages with Tyson earlier, and I don't think he will be down on Saturday night. You know, I don't think Anthony's been to any of his fights, and I think that, you know, Tyson Fury won't be down. I think he'll listen. You never know on the day if he changes his mind, but I think he's you know, ready for Christmas, probably with the family. I think he'll obviously, you know, watch him, and I just think what I do know is that Tyson Fury wants Anthony Joshua badly, and that AJ wants hopefully for him and his team, get the job done against Kubrat Pulev, then I'm sure Eddie Hearn straight afterwards will be banging the drum to get that made next. We have got problems, Andy. We have the issue of Alexander Usyk being the WBO mandatory, and obviously there's a belt issue there. There's going to be a defence that's needed. We also have probably a bigger problem, which is, Shelley Finkel and Team Wilder, who will insist that they are next for Tyson Fury. That Tyson Fury, pulled out of the fight or the date on December the 5th with potentially Agit Kabayel, as we knew. But, he can't fight until next year, and maybe Wilder will get that shot. But if Wilder decides to go a different route, or the litigation isn't, or what we expect to happen, and it will be something decided, you could see Joshua and Fury as early as the spring. My gut feeling is it might not happen until later in the year. I do think that should everything stick together, that 2021 we do get to see Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in a ring somewhere in the world, which will stop traffic globally, Johnny.
Listen, he wants to get in every aspect of the game. He's the entertainment, he's the show. Now he wants to get into the business side of it as well. And that's why I think, as far as he's concerned, it's good business. I asked the question upstairs. He said he wants to concentrate on what was in front of him and in Pulev. But I actually think good business is he and Tyson Fury. It can be done.
There's a very interesting guy over there. He's called Naz, right? And he is very close to both Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. So he sort of flips between the two camps. So he's a great sort of font of information. He's actually helped with the sparring partners up in Sheffield, but he's always around Deontay on fight week and the build up there. So you sort of get some gossip from him, you sort of feel what's happening, and he believes that Deontay Wilder is preparing for Tyson Fury. So according to him, it may take a little bit longer, this fight.
I totally agree, because I was speaking to one of Tyson's representatives 2 days ago, and they were saying the signing of the contract is imminent in regards to he and Wilder. So I totally get you. But as you sort of talk about Naz is there. You know what, I'd love to pin him down and torture some information out of him, because he could tell us so many stories about both camps. But I suppose he's got the confidence, and he's in that circle of trust with both fighters, which it just shows the testament to him.
What will he do tonight? What are we on Wednesday night? Fights on Saturday. When's your last hard session? People do it. People do mad differences, don't they? Katie Taylor did a full spar 2 nights before the fight.
So Rob McCracken's don't fool. There's no way they are going to do anything that's too strenuous. This is about getting the sweat on, staying loose, and that's it. So
will you do pads tonight?
Do a few pads.
How many rounds will he do if he's got 12 on Saturday?
He might do 6, and that's it, if that. But he won't do much more than that, because it's just about all the work's been done. They want to keep him quite fresh. They don't want to take the edge off him, and so in not doing that, they're just going through the motions. Remember, when he fights, sometimes if he's not done 12 rounds, Rob will make him finish the 12 rounds in the dressing room. So this is the habit, just getting your body into that habit there.
When you spoke to him earlier, did you touch on the mental side of things? Yeah. I don't think there's any questions over Anthony Joshua's physical preparation, because there couldn't be if you look like that. He's not cut corners, it can't be. What about the mental side of things? Did you talk about that approach?
And I could totally relate to where he was coming from, because physically everything's important. If you can get yourself right mentally, what's most important is that is your strength. That's your true strength. You can be physically strong, but if mentally you're not right, you're not on there. He's talking about, I now convince myself. I shadowbox and talk to myself. Look at myself as if to say, how would I beat me? When he talks like that, when he fights like that, when he puts himself under that kind of pressure, then what he has to do is he has to deliver, and so he likes that, putting himself under that kind of pressure.
Okay, you can see that people are just starting to make their way around and set up for training. I'm just trying to stay out of the way of the training camp here. Okay, one more to come, sorry. As predicted, guys. The training session, our acceptance is coming to an end. What did he say to you there, Spencer, that you can tell us?
and tell you some, and so maybe not others. But listen, what he said was that he recognises that age is just a number. You know, he's learned from that. Povetkin was at that sort of age. He said that he's taken this as a live opponent. He knows Pulev's probably going to put in the fight of his career, and he's taking it seriously. He said the training's gone really hard. He's starting to feel tired now, and it's his final week. He just wants this week out of the way now. Obviously, nerves creeping at this stage, and he just wants fight night to arrive. You know, AJ's one of those fighters. AJ's one of those fighters that likes to work right up until the final day. You know, where normal fighters taper off now and start coming down, he's going to have a full-blown workout now. He's getting prepared to do stuff. Which I'm not going to mention, but he's been prepared to have a proper workout right now. But he said that basically all the hard work's been done, and he just wants to get in there and fight now.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining that stream. Everybody that has sent in comments and questions, really appreciate it. What I might do actually is I might just get Tom to turn around and finish on the champion. This will be our goodbye. So make sure you join us tomorrow for the press conference. Same sort of setup. The stream is at 2 o'clock, so we'll probably come on just before 2 o'clock. Send in all your comments and your questions. It's been great having you along with us, and we are going to go before the door shuts on us. The champ is going to go through one of his final workout sessions. So thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you later in the week.